Hey, welcome back. We're on the 67 Camaro again this week, and there's a lot to do. Frame's finished. We're going to go pick it up here in just a few minutes. The Camaro, you can see, is kind of on its side here. Troy worked on it while I was gone some. The bodywork's almost completely finished on this old girl. It won't be long. This thing will be in primer and sealed up and ready for paint. We're going to do a cam swap this week. I'm going to reassemble the frame. There's so much to do. And thought I'd kind of give y'all an update on the body right quick. And we'll go from there. So, man, having a rotisserie is a huge deal. Got all that in. He fixed a little small spot, a little dent on the cowl right there, right on the other side, where he welded all that together. And then where he put the roof on, he's got that all pretty well taken care of, front and back. The lower part of the rockers has been stripped. He stripped off behind the package tray here, this filler panel. He got it all stripped down. Let's see. Valance had just a couple little dings in it. This rocker over here had taken a hit. Wasn't bad, but it had taken a hit, and so he straightened the whole thing out. Yeah, it's gonna be a sweet ride. You can see the new floor pans in it. It just put a floor pan in it. The trunk pan was still in good shape, so he left it. So everything's welded in. I think he's got some stuff to do yet on this, so it won't be long, and this old girl will be ready for painting, be sealed up. And then trunk lid's off. It's been skim coated, worked out. I think most of the body works over here is pretty well done. So let me show you what I'll be doing this week. Let's go check that out. So the cam came in for the motor, gaskets for the timing cover, new gasket for the oil pan, got the new control arms are in, so all that's ready. We just got to pick up the frame, and then I can start putting the frame back together and getting it ready to put this motor in the frame. So we'll at least be doing all that this week, maybe more, who knows. We'll see how it goes. I am going to go ahead and get to work, though. All right, y'all have seen me struggle and get that in there twice. Well, I'm going to do it a third time. This time we're going to put the right control arm on. The spring perches don't line up at all. So we're going to switch this out and get the right one on. I guess you're supposed to switch the bump stop and the sway bar, depending on if it's a Nova or a Camaro. That's my guess. All right, so you may see I got a zip tie through there just so I remember to put a Carter key in it. But when I was putting that together, there's a long and a short bolt, and they just didn't want to go in. I had to work with them, but they're in now. I set the preload on this. I tightened it down until I felt a little drag, and I backed it off. So that should be good. Everything else went together fairly nice. So I still got to put the grease zerks in and all the Carter keys, but that'll happen in the future here. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the other side and get it to this point. Troy's been out here blasting the rest of the underside where the trunk pan was. Thought I'd get y'all in here. I'm gonna show you, let you see a little bit of that. I'm gonna come this other side here. Here we go. Whew, well. Thought I'd show you all the new project that just showed up yesterday. Troy started this car a couple years ago for a client, and it's back to be finished. And all the way, I think this thing's going completely stock, basically back original, and it's going to be a turnkey car when it leaves. That means we're going to be slowing down on the Camaro, but we got a lot left on the Camaro. We're going to try to wrap up in this video this week to get it to where it can just sit for a while. And then onto the Chevelle here. So this is I think it's a 71 or 2. I'm not sure. Chevelle, it's already been off the frame on the rotisserie. The underside's painted. The frames, all the suspension and everything's been built. New quarters, new floors, new trunk pan. That's just the way these, it's how you build these cars. So I thought I'd show that to y'all, but there'll be more to come on this in the future. So anyways, I'm going to jump over and show you where I ended up yesterday on that subframe. Yesterday was a struggle day. If you ever have a struggle day, you know what I mean. And I just struggled all day. But let me show you what I got, and we're going back on it and try to wrap it up to where it's the frame and everything's kind of wrapped up today. Here's a quick look at this Chevelle, though. It's a cowl induction hood. Doors are fitted. New trunk. New filler panel in the back. New one-piece floor up front. Got the new quarters in it. There's a lot of stuff in this garage right now. I'm trying to figure out how to get the best shots here. You can see the red underneath it. It's actually, the underside of this car is already painted. This car will be red, and I do believe white. Yeah, it's just new. But still got a long way to go. So this side of the car is the same. You can see it's all been painted underneath already. I'm going to see if I can get a quick shot underneath the car for you and just mean, it's when you build a car to this level, they're beautiful from every angle, in my opinion. All right, so y'all saw me put the suspension on this side, and I struggled. And the reason why is that lower control arm. The first time I put I put the wrong one on, but the sleeve came out of the back bushing when I put it on. So I had to tear it back down, put the sleeve back in it, put it back in, and then realized that the spring pocket was too far forward, which made me go, oh yeah, that's the wrong side. Blah, blah, blah. So I had to take it off again and do it a third time. So don't follow my mistake there if you're doing your own. Also, if you happen to be building a 67 Camaro, probably all the way up to an 81, I'm guessing they use a very similar frame. If you had these control arms, they grease in the back and the grease fitting comes straight out. You actually have to put in a 90-degree angle, which you can do once it's in, but if you know that ahead of time, save yourself tons of effort. That has been a pain. So I'm going to get back on this today. There's some clips and stuff that have to be sandblasted and painted. I'm going to take care of those. And then the frame itself is kind of taken care of. You'll notice I just kind of stuck the steering in here for now. There's no boots on it. That'll get readdressed later. We're just trying to get this thing so we can put the motor and stuff in it and move it as a unit. That way when because we're going to move the car over here for now, and that way we have more room in the other shop. So that's where this thing's at. So I'm just going to get to work. I'm not going to show you me sandblasting these little parts and stuff. I'm going to get those done. And then after they're done, we'll see what happens and get you caught up at that point or on a stand, or we'll see what happens. Sorry about the background noise, but here's that Zerk fitting that I had to put in. I put a 90 in there. This originally has had a straight, and as you can see, there is no room right there. So yeah, if you're putting control arms on, make sure you can get to all the fittings. This thing has been a bear, but they're both in now. I'm gonna put some grease in this one, and also when I put these in, you can see I put a little grease around the fittings so they fit a little better. I'm gonna get this greased up and keep on moving. All right, folks, we've been working here on the motor. By the way, use a little common sense. If you got a hydraulic lift that tends to leak down, use your board. That right there, that's a saver. Anyways, pulled the pan off of it, pulled the timing cover off of it. I've already changed the pickup. We're putting a shorter pan on it, of course, to clear the frame, so we have more clearance. I put the pickup on already, but I wanted to show you all this. Some of y'all may never have seen one. This bracket right here, let's see if we can get it. So it has 2 bolts in it. LS's have a tendency to blow that O-ring because they only come with 1 bolt on this side from the factory, and they make this little, there's a girdle, or I don't know what you call it, a retainer, and that holds it in evenly and keeps the gasket from blowing and keeps the oil pressure up on these. That's just one of those things that if you didn't know it existed and you had your motor apart, you might not do it, but definitely something to look into. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the pan back on this. There's really nothing to show. Then we're gonna go ahead and pull the top pan apart and put a cam in it. So I may throw y'all on a tripod for that. We'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna keep on working. All right, so you're gonna have to take our word that we put a cam in this. I didn't record none of it. Someday y'all may get an LS video. This ain't it. There's the cam we took out. Nonetheless, we're gonna stick this thing into the frame I've been working on. I want y'all to see these casters that Troy's so proud of. I think he's going to go into manufacturing them and shipping them out across the world. But it does make it really nice. I'm going to set y'all up on a tripod.
Patent pending.
Patent pending, there we go. And we're going to stab this thing in between the frame rails. Well, we got her in there, and looks pretty good. But this car had a 6-speed on it before. Rear cross member doesn't line up now, so we're going to have to do some modifications. I don't know what those are just yet, but we'll see what happens. All right, so here's what we've come up with. I've already drilled one hole over there. We moved it forward, cut the ears off, got it where we liked it. We're going to drill a hole, front hole, and then a back hole here on both sides. I'm just using a series of 3 bits. I'm going to set y'all up, and I'll drill these right quick and show you what I'm doing. All right, so we got it in there. Troy fixed me up and got the right amount of washers on it. Now, if you're wondering how we're going to get to these on the bottom, I'm actually going to cut between those 2 holes and elongate that so you can get to it. But we're not going to do that right now. That'll happen later. Also, if you're curious to know how the casters are holding up, not well is the answer. Maybe this prototype gets a little tweaking before it goes to patent. All right, so yesterday you saw that we had got all that together. We moved this back into the corner so we could bring the rotisserie in here with the car on it. There's still going to be a few things we're going to do today. The motor and trans, I'm going to go ahead and put the starter on it, get the coil packs mounted on it. All right, next on my agenda, got some holes here I'm going to weld up. That's just where he screwed the floor in from the other side, took the screws out, and I'm going to weld those up right quick on both sides. And I think it's close to the last of the welding on this car. All right, so I welded the other side up and ground it down. I got no footage of it. This side was already ground or welded up. I'm gonna grind it down. I'm gonna throw you all on a stand while I do so. I'm also gonna get in here and strip all this rest of that paint off. All right, I finally got all that stripped. It took a hit right here, but it's a really nice rocker. From here, back's fine, and from here, forward's fine. So we'll have to pull that out and fix it, but they put way too much mud in it, just trying to fix something that if they had pulled it, it didn't really need that much, or not nearly as much as they had in it. Let's see the pile on the floor there. Anyways, I'm gonna grind those inside ones, and then that pretty much wraps this up. And then we'll be just on to fixing that. All right, so I'm gonna come in here and pull this section. It's only from there to there. It's really not that far. We're doing it the old school way. Drill some holes. We've got a homemade slide hammer, and I'll just ease her out. And it's really not that bad. The bottom's not bad at all. It's just right there. After we drill these holes, I'll come back and weld them all in, hit it with a grinder, weld them all in, hit it again, and be ready for mud. Thought I'd tell y'all this too. Some of y'all may have never pulled a dent like this. The way to do it is to start at the shallow end and work your way in both directions till you come to the middle. Some people will start in the middle and you'll never get that to come out right. It'll pull out here and then it'll be kind of wonky. I've always found if I start at one end and just this won't take a bunch, but it kind of comes out nice and even. So you got to think of how this was probably dented. It probably hit right here and it drug along and then sheared out. So we're going to work our way. And then this, where it's the deepest, which really isn't all that deep, will pop out a little at a time as we come along. So I'm going to put it back on the time lapse, and I'm going to get to work and y'all can watch me. Well, I got all the holes I had ground down after welding them. Now this thing's ready to be pulled in mud. All right, so yesterday I got that dent pretty well pulled out. It is really difficult to see dents on camera. I know that, but it's much more shallow now. I'm gonna have to pull mud, and I'll probably pull the entire thing like we've done up here. That way, if there's any dings or whatever, we'll get them out. And there's a little high spot right there. I have to knock that in. But I want to pull some mud on this and kind of get it worked out. So this rocker will be done. I tried to show you earlier. I'm not sure if that'll make the video or not, but underneath this 70 Chevelle that was brought in that Troy had done a couple of years ago and he's back on now, it's on the lift. I want to show you the underside of that thing to kind of give you an idea of what this will look like when it's done. By the way, that lift, I never imagined those things would be so handy. That thing is awesome. But anyways, there you go. Yeah, I just thought I'd show y'all underneath that thing. It is beautiful. It's going to be an amazing car when it's done. So will the Camaro. All right, I got that knocked down and straightened out. I don't know why that was like that from before. They put a ton of mud on it to cover it up. And they could have just knocked the dent in and moved on. I don't know. Well, I forgot to hit record. But I got the mud on there, whatever. We'll let that kick off. I'll sand all this down and pull it again. It's going to have at least 2 more coats probably. But anyways, sorry about forgetting to hit record. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm doing the best I can here. So I pulled the dash out of this 70 convertible today. Not much to say about it. It came out just as it should have. There's no way to film that wasn't going to just look like me laying on the ground underneath the convertible. So, but I did find something. Found this barrette thing in the AC ducts. Now, can you imagine? It's 1973. Your dad has just bought a big block convertible Chevelle. You're 17, he's gone. You go out in the garage, you slip it out, you go by, get your girl, she lays that on the dash and it falls in the vent. How nervous would you be that your dad would find that one day and beat you within an inch of your life? That's the story I'm telling about this barrette. Who knows where it came from, but. Hey guys, I'm gonna wrap this up right here. I'm getting ready to leave. Troy's going to try to get this thing in primer tomorrow, which I think he can do. He's going to also put Z-Chrome on this car. Z-Chrome is basically a sprayable body filler. It's great for scratches and any little thing that you miss. You block the whole car with that, and it works out great. I can't figure out a good way to film body work and make it interesting. Just can't figure it out. But I want to know what y'all think. What color should we paint this car? Just curious. We've been talking about it. It's going to be in color probably fairly soon, I would think, unless something else comes in we got to work on. So throw it in the comments. What do you think? Red, orange, blue, black? I don't know. Nonetheless, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you would and hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Till next week, folks.